Good morning. This is Jeff from Jeff and Charlene's garden. Today we're going to be putting in a vermaculture tower. We're going to prepare the bed for the tower itself. We're going to use a bucket and we're going to drill holes in it for the vermiculture for the compost. So I kind of like rounded a little circle there, and I'm going to try. Excuse me, I gotta find a good spot. I am disabled, and I find little ways to do little things to make life a little bit easier. So today,
Why do you use that little spade, such a tiny spade?
I use a small spade because I can't use a big spade. It'll pick up too much dirt. I can't bend over
Very well, and then
at all. Really,
makes it
hurts my
easier to
throat.
lift.
Right. So what I do is I got a little spade and I used some duct tape to an old hook, and then I use an old cane. I've got a bunch of old canes. I've been disabled for about 14 years now, and I use it so I don't have to actually bend over and pick up the dirt. I can just do it from here.
Ugh, what a good idea. We need to patent that, baby.
So I can move small amounts of dirt like this. When we get a load of dirt in the spring to do.
I do most of that kind of dirt moving, but occasionally you can help me, I know. You try. So I hear you hit something. What is in there? I'm going to get closer.
Underneath, you should look here. We are see how many worms we already have in this thing.
Yeah, this is this is the soil that we actually have built up in the garden bed. I had shown you some of the soil that we used to have. If you move your glove there, babe. And this is what the soil looks like now that we've been working on for the last, several years. So we have done a good job of improving it. We just want to continue to improve it more. But we also, we live here in Eugene, Oregon, and so we are in a very different area. It rains a lot in the winter, quite a bit, and then it's dry, completely dry in the summertime. And generally we have maybe 1-2 rains, if that. But what we've discovered is it's going to get even worse when it comes to drought conditions because we've had a lot less rain this year, haven't we, honey?
We didn't have as much rain this winter as we usually do, even in the bad years. You can actually see how this soil was pretty moist.
So you know what? If you hold
ago.
if you hold this for me, I can actually, with my hands, dig that.
Okay.
And show what we've done under here. You explain what this is. So he found out about something called hugelkultur. Now tell us what that is, honey.
I was learning that from my daughter. She was researching hugelkultur, which is an old German way of growing food in the forests. You bury wood, and as it decays, it also absorbs water, and it feeds, as it breaks down, it feeds the soil. In addition to that, the chemical reaction warms the soil. So it in here where we have drought-like conditions sometimes in the summertime, I wanted to try and keep our
Just this.
our soil as moist as possible, because we do end up with a lot of what, you just might have to take out that one piece right there, baby.
I realize that this is quite a large piece that we put in here.
That's
and
all right.
we didn't realize it. We kind of did this backwards, didn't we? You did you wanted to do the hugelkultur. Boy, I can't ever remember that anyway.
Yeah.
Hugelkultur, which I thought was a wonderful idea. But then we came up with the vermiculture that we wanted to do.
But you know what? We only need to take that one piece out and we'll go as far
But you
down.
know what? There's another potato. Darn it! If we can't get these potatoes out of this place.
If you love potatoes,
Look
you
at
just
that.
you just have to plant them once, and they will
come
up eternally.
forever, won't they?
Yes, they
Yeah,
will.
and that's okay. Except we don't want potatoes in this bed anymore.
Not
So
this
anyway,
year.
you want me to go ahead
Well,
and put
pretty
the
close
bucket
to
in
the
there?
bottom, not too far down.
You want to see how far you've got to go to
Yeah.
do the holes. I think we're pretty close.
All right, flatten
Okay.
that out.
Yeah, let me get the side though and then flatten that out.
Right.
This is not wide enough, I don't think, at the bottom.
You're good at bending. Take the bucket and just kind of like roll it, or you know what I mean? Yeah, down into the ground.
See,
I got all
think
kinds
I've
of
gotta
funny
go.
words. All right, we don't want it to go.
Oh, that's probably
That's
perfect. That's
right?
perfect.
Okay, what? No, spet. Put it down.
Okay.
I want to mark it. Well,
Oh, where's the marker?
hold this. I don't think I have a marker. Hang on, I got my knife. I can mark a little mark on
You
the
can
side.
carry everything in your work belt that you have to pretty much use to.
Oh gosh,
You don't have to get down, sweetie. It's okay.
that's all right.
You don't have to get down. I can do it.
I can do it. I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to use your knife
Just to mark.
because we don't have a marker with us right now. Honey, do you have here? Use this to get up. That's not good. Oh, okay.
All right. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, so now we're going to combine the hugelkultur with the vermaculture. So we're going to go and he's going to go in the garage and go ahead and start
Drill
cutting
holes.
those holes, drill those holes, and I will be in the garage with. We're in the garage, and Jeff is going to make holes in the bucket. He's using, what did you say, 3/4 inch?
Yeah, 3/4 inch hole saw.
Now, some people use smaller holes, and I saw somebody with a 3/8 inch bit, and that's fine. He wants to try it this way, and so this is what we're going to do this time. Go ahead, and I'll just watch what you do for a minute.
Okay.
That's our kitty. There she is, Miss Dasha. So, and we didn't. You don't have to make marks on the bucket if you don't want to, but he just did. We just did some little scribbles so that he'd have an idea of where he wanted to go.
Yeah.
So he's just going to go ahead and go up. He's not going to go past this line. If you can show, see.
Those little top dot lines.
So he made. You need to be still, sweetie.
Sorry, there it is.
Okay, so this one right here, right?
Right.
Okay, so this is the line that he made, and you're not going to want to go higher than that, of course, or even too close to that line, because if you do, it's really going to weaken the
worms.
stability of the bucket, and the worms aren't
The
going to.
worms don't care for the sunlight, so they try to stay away from the surface
Right,
as
so-
much as they can.
So they're not going to be up in that
Right.
area anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's just going to keep doing that until he gets all those holes cut, and then we'll go ahead and go outside. So Jeff, you go ahead and do that, and I'm going to walk over here and show them and talk a little bit about where I got the worms.
Very good.
So I'm going to take you over here to my bucket with our little electric Makita. But this is our area where our worms are. Oh my gosh, they look like they're trying to get out. So I actually went online and looked and saw where, oh my God, honey, they're all on the outside of the bag and everything. Holy crap. It's a little weird to me. Okay, so this is my first time with the worms. So,
How you go fishing with us?
I don't know. Anyway, I need to put my gloves on, but I'll get used to it. Anyway, so what I was going to buy these worms, and I went online and I looked it up, and I found a couple of places, one place in particular that shipped worms all the way from the East Coast. And I thought, why should I be doing that when in reality I should be buying local, because that's what we do. We live very simply. We make our own food. We're trying to grow as much food as we want, as we can. I make all our bread. We make our own granola. We do everything ourselves. We very rarely depend on other people for stuff like that. And I thought, why should I send to the East Coast for our worms. So anyway, I looked it up on Craigslist and actually found a local guy that had the red crawlers, which is what we needed, the compost worms. And so I just went over there yesterday and got them, and he put them in this bag, and I took the bucket. And he said that with the food that he had in there, they would actually last a week. But we did want to get this done sooner than that. And so we're doing that today. It is an overcast day and we're not going to have a lot of sun, but at least we can get our buckets in. So I'm going to just let Jeff finish this and then we'll come back. Okay, so it's Jeff and Shar. We're finishing up our video. Jeff has made a bunch of holes in the bucket, and as you can see, he put holes in the bottom as well. So I put that down in one of the holes that we dug. I'm going to let him have the camera so that he can video me while I do the remainder of this little project. So, first of all, as I said before, this happens to be the area where we had tremendous, horrible soil. Look at this clay. I mean, this is so hard, it's just ridiculous. So this is what we're really hoping that the worms are going to help us with to amend. So instead of putting that clay, because you do have to fill in around the bucket, instead of putting this clay back in there, I have soil that I keep in my greenhouse throughout the year. And it's not great soil, but it's loose and loamy. So I'm going to use that around the edges. In fact, it's a good way for me to use up the end of this soil because the end of it's kind of dry. Now, what I think this is going to do, and this is my own thing, this is nothing I saw, this is just me, is I think it's going to give the worms a chance when they go to come outside the bucket, so that they're not coming outside the bucket directly into really hard, horrible clay. And give them a chance in life, so to speak, and allow them to get a good start. Then they can start working on our clay gradually. So I just need to finish that up. And let's see, finish that. So what we're trying to do here is not just amend this corner, but what we've done is we reduced the amount of blackberries we had because one of our berry vines actually died off. So we dug that up last year and we planted this pear tree. It's a dwarf. So we actually divided this blackberry area to where the blackberries are really on this side, and we're hoping that this new tree, which we just planted in February, is going to grow up. And again, it's a dwarf, so we're hoping it'll be maybe 6 feet tall, 5-6 feet tall. And it is going to be self-pollinating because we bought one that has a variety of pears grafted onto one tree. Okay? It actually has 5. So what we're trying to do is create growing space everywhere. Like I said, we're really trying to work on a permaculture yard. So we have beautiful soil in here, and what we want to do is continue to have beautiful soil for our tree as well as this corner, which is why we chose this placement. It is kind of in the middle or in the actual corner of this section, as well as close enough to the tree that we think we're going to get some really good worm activity near the tree. Okay, so I have to be very careful in this spot. It's a little bit difficult. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually add... Oh, I lost my shovel. I'll be right back. So I'm going to add the first layer, about a quarter of the way full. I'm going to add in our compost. We chose compost because that's what we had. And quite a few people did use compost. Now, some people used raw manure. We had no raw manure. So we decided we have all this compost that is almost done. It will act similar to the manure in that it does have a lot of nutrients in it right now. But also, it's kind of still got a lot of things going on in it, which means it'll almost be similar to mulch as well. Okay, so then after that, not before I do the all the good food scraps and stuff, I'm going to tear up. We save everything. We use everything, save everything in our cardboard scraps, like the egg cartons and all the rolls from our toilet paper and stuff. We don't throw it in our recycling. We end up using it. We put it in our compost. I'm sure a lot of you people do that compost. So one of the layers they talked about was this paper or cardboard. And we like this kind of stuff because I think it's going to be easy for the worms. And so I'm going to put my layer of this in here, and I did break it up, but I'm breaking it up just a little bit more because I don't think I got it broke up enough. Now, I saw one lady, the lady in Florida that we watched her video. She was very informative. She talked about different ways that she does this, and she uses shredded paper, which I think is awesome. I happen to not have any shredded paper at the moment, but I can get it, so maybe next time I will use some of that. Now I want to put another layer of soil, and that's just compost, just because I don't really want to put those worms down on the cardboard, and it's just me, but this is kind of the way I want to do it. And so I'm doing that, and then bring my worms over here next to me. This time I won't scream. I've gotten kind of used to them. They're all over the place. It's hilarious how they just went bananas. So these are the worms I was showing you in the garage, and I was very happy with them. I'm glad that I went the route that I did, because this gentleman, first of all, again, he was local. And if you can see all these little worms in here, this is actually a handful that doesn't have a lot, because I used some in another bucket. And I also just decided to add some to a new compost pile that I started just out of curiosity. Wet it down really, really well and covered it just to see how they're going to do there. Now, if you get down in there, see what he did? He put a bunch of scraps and stuff in there with the worms, and because I've been opening the bucket, they've been trying to get down in the lower part, except for the escape artist who wanted to get. Okay, so this one woman in Florida, again, the lady that I talked to, or I didn't talk to, I'm sorry, the lady we watched her video, she said about a pound per bucket. So that's what we're doing. And I think that averages to about 100 to 200 worms. Okay, I'm going to get out of the video for a minute. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to go with our scraps. So according to everybody, and according to what I know about worms and composting, they do not like citrus. But they also don't care for onion skins and onions. So we're not going to have any of those in here. There's a seed packet that is just paper, so they'll like that. We're just going to put a small layer here of the vegetation that we've collected. And that can be anything. I mean, you know, it's not just food scraps. As you see, I have weeds. I mean, they'll eat anything.
Coffee filters.
Yeah, coffee filters. Oh, and they love coffee grounds. And the woman in Florida, she's just really knowledgeable. She also talked about melons. They love different kinds of melons. So as we have melon scraps, we're going to make sure we include those. So I have a layer of the greenery, and there's a coffee filter. And now, the one thing we have to remember is they love water. They have to have water. So it's interesting, there's almost no worms on top because I left them exposed to the light. So I'm going to cover them back up so that I don't have to dig so far next time to grab some. But what we want to remember again is they have to have water. Now I knew they liked moisture, but I didn't understand totally why. And according to, again, the woman in Florida, I wish I could remember her name. Next time I'll have to remember her site so that I can tell you where to go to find out more information. But she said that they actually need water to breathe. So that is very, very important. So we're going to fill this up, and of course the water will leak out through the holes, so you're not expecting this whole bucket to fill up with water. But what you want to do is, if you could get down closer there, Jeff, can you see how when I press my hand, I can see the water in the soil? See, I'm going to put a little more. Put a little more. Actually, I can even fill this bucket up more too if I want. But right now I think I'm just going to start this way. We'll let it go. There we go. And that water will gradually seep out, but keep everything in there really moist, which is what we want. And so now the other thing we have to do is make sure they're covered, because of course they do not care for light. So we're going to put our bucket. Now we're not going to press it all down. I just touched both sides so that it would stay in place, because we don't have to try and seal it up. There's air coming from all. Thank you for visiting our garden again. We hope to see you next time. Have a wonderful day.